All right, today we're diving into a massive battle brewing in the world of aesthetics. We're talking about injectables, and it's a high-stakes game. We're pulling from a fantastic deep dive by HDIN Research to really unpack this. You see, the fight for who dominates this market has never been hotter. And believe me, this isn't just about Botox anymore. It's a whole new war, with new rules, a new kind of customer, and every company's playbook is being pushed to its absolute limit.
So that leads us to the big question, right? You've got this multi-billion-dollar market that's essentially up for grabs. But who is really winning? It's shaping up to be a three-way duel. You've got the established empire, a global specialist, and this super-focused disruptor. Each one has a totally different game plan, and the winner, well, the winner is going to be whoever figures out this changing landscape the fastest.
Okay, let's just look at the players for a second. The numbers here really paint the picture of the battlefield. You have AbbVie, the empire, a $3.6 billion titan. Then there's Galderma, the specialist, a really strong challenger at $2.6 billion. And then look at the disruptor, Evolus, coming in at just under $300 million. See what I mean? This isn't just a simple competition. It's a classic David versus Goliath story. And we're here to figure out if David's slingshot actually stands a chance.
So, to get to the bottom of all this, we're going to break it down into 4 parts. First, we'll look at why the battlefield itself is changing and who's driving that change. Then, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of each company's product playbook. After that, we'll follow the money and their big-picture strategies. And finally, we'll give our verdict on who's really set up to win this thing.
Right, so the first thing you have to understand is that the ground is shifting under everyone's feet. For years, this market was all about, mature repair. But now, a whole new generation, millennials and Gen Z, is storming the castle. They're not looking for repair, they're looking for youthful prevention. And this isn't just some passing trend, it's a huge shift in how people think, and it's forcing every single one of these companies to completely rethink how they do business.
So, how are these companies arming themselves for this new kind of war? Let's dig into the product playbook. We're going to really analyze each company's arsenal. What are their core products? What are they innovating? And where are they placing their biggest bets for the future? Let's start with the empire, AbbVie. What's so fascinating here is just how much they rely on one single thing. Botox isn't just a product, it's a household name, right? And it makes up a whopping 72% of their injectable money. Now that's an incredible strength for sure, but it could also be a major weakness. Their whole kingdom is basically built on this one legendary brand.
Now compare that to Galderma, totally different story. Their portfolio is way more balanced. Yeah, toxins are still the biggest piece of the pie, but look at that huge 43% slice made up of fillers and something really interesting called biostimulators. Basically, these are advanced injectables that get your own skin to create more collagen. Having this kind of diversity means they can fight on multiple fronts, and that biostimulator category, well, that's kind of their secret weapon.
And then you've got the disruptor, Evolus. They are the absolute definition of a pure play. They're not trying to do everything. They're focused like a laser on one thing. A staggering 92% of their revenue comes from their single toxin, Jeuveau. Their whole strategy isn't to outflank the empire. It's to launch a direct, head-on assault against Botox itself.
So let's talk more about that secret weapon. What in the world are biostimulators? Well, unlike fillers that just kind of plump things up, products like Galderma Sculptra are like a personal trainer for your skin. They tell it to start producing its own natural collagen again. This is just a brilliant example of how Galderma isn't just playing the game, they're creating a whole new one by going after the side effects of those popular new weight loss drugs.
And this is exactly how they're doing it. You've probably heard about the new GLP-1 drugs, right? Well, they've created this new issue people are calling weight loss face, which is just a loss of volume in the face. Galderma saw this and pounced. They positioned their products, Restylane and Sculptra, as the perfect solution. They're cashing in on a problem that pretty much didn't exist a couple years ago. Talk about being quick on your feet.
Meanwhile, Evolus is taking a completely different approach. You could almost call it molecular mimicry. What they did was design their toxin, Jeuveau, to be almost an exact copy of Botox, right down to the molecular level. Why would they do that? Well, it's to take the whole which one is better debate off the table. They ran trials to prove it's just as good, so they can switch the fight to a battlefield where they have the advantage: price, slick digital marketing, and appealing to that younger customer.
But things are not standing still. The race to innovate is really heating up. And again, Galderma is making a huge play here with its next-gen toxin, Relfydess. Just look at these claims. Almost 40% of patients see results on day 1, and for 3/4 of them, it lasts up to 6 months. That is a massive leap forward from the industry standard of 3 to 4 months. Now, Evolus is also working on a longer-lasting version, but the key is Galderma's already there.
Okay, but having a great product is really only half the story. To win this war, you need the money and the right strategy to actually get it to people. So let's shift gears. Let's follow the money and break down the grand strategies each company is betting on.
This chart right here, it tells you everything about strategy. This is SG&A, which is just a fancy way of saying how much each company spends on things like marketing and operations for every dollar they earn. AbbVie, the empire, is super efficient, just 23%. Makes sense. Galderma's at 43%, which shows they're investing heavily in their sales force. But Evolus? Whoa, 74.3%. That's not just a business cost, that is pure rocket fuel. They are absolutely torching cash to grow as fast as they possibly can.
And here it is, AbbVie's ultimate weapon, their war chest. In 2025, they're expected to bring in almost $18 billion in free cash flow. That is an almost mind-boggling amount of financial power. They can fund any research, buy any competitor, and pretty much survive any market shift.
Now, let's look at the other side of that coin. Evolus is projected to have a negative free cash flow of $46 million. They're not making money, they're burning it. This contrast couldn't be more stark. It really shows you the difference between the giant and the challenger. AbbVie is a fortress built on cash, while Evolus is a high-growth startup that absolutely has to keep growing to survive.
So, how does AbbVie defend that fortress? With something we're calling the brand matrix. It's brilliant, really. Here's how it works. First, they pull you in with the legendary Botox brand. Second, once you're in the clinic, they cross-sell you their Jeuveau fillers. And third, they lock you into their ecosystem with their loyalty program, Ally, which makes it really hard for you to switch. It's a powerful competitive moat.
Galderma and Evolus know they can't attack that fortress head-on, so they have to be clever. Galderma plays the role of the trusted specialist. Since they only focus on dermatology, they build incredible trust with doctors by training over 100,000 of them. Evolus, on the other hand, is the pure disruptor. They use a light asset model, a digital-first, cash-pay approach. This lets them sidestep insurance headaches and gives them the freedom to play with pricing to really go after that younger, more value-focused customer.
Okay, we've looked at the customers, we've looked at the products, and we've looked at the big strategies. It's time for the final act. Let's pull all of this together into a verdict and see who's really in the best position to win this fight for your wallet heading into 2026.
So here's the bottom line. Each of these companies has clear strengths and some pretty big weaknesses. AbbVie has all the money and the brand recognition, but its filler portfolio, Jeuveau, is getting a little old, and being so reliant on Botox makes them a giant target. Galderma has that balanced portfolio and great innovation, but they have to keep spending big to keep up their growth. And Evolus, they have a fantastic digital model and pricing power, but they're burning cash and are, for now, dangerously dependent on just one main product.
And that really brings us to our final thought here. This whole battle just proves that the winner isn't guaranteed to be the biggest player. Not anymore. Success in this new beauty war is going to go to the company that truly understands, adapts to, and wins over a new generation of consumers. A generation that's younger, more digital, and more conscious of value than ever before. So yeah, the empire is strong, but you can feel it. The ground is definitely shaking.
And that's our breakdown of the new beauty war. If you want to go even deeper and see all the financial models and data points for yourself, you have to check out the full comprehensive report from HDIN Research. Thanks so much for watching.